engaging investors, signing MOUs with them. I am sure throughout the process, they may have contacted the authority, haven't they?
I have not cited their application yet, but I will check.
Great. And I'm sure also that now that you are here, you would have collaborations with them to ensure that going forward, a lot of the assessments would even be done because they would have zoned the areas and indicated which areas would have, say, the refineries, the harbor, and all of that. And these are things that you're prepared to engage them in anticipation of the investors, right? I can't hear you.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah. So, I mean, the good thing is that we are hearing now that they are resettling some communities or they have resettled communities. So these are some of our requirements. So if they are already done, it helps our process to be faster.
Great. So it means the processes can be faster. Yes, Michael, yes, you're making a point before I have to cut in.
Well, I was saying that, just to reiterate, that most of the applicants come to us after they've acquired all the permits from other regulatory agencies. So when it comes to us, our process is usually faster because most of the inspections require an on-site visit, which can be done within a week, after which we submit a report and it's approved administratively and the permit is issued. So for us, we are always ready to try and reduce the turnaround time to make it happen.
You see, my thing about CAN is that it is doable. But is there evidence that it has been done before? So you've done that before?
Yes, we can issue permits within 2 weeks.
Within 2 weeks? Yes. Okay. Okay, which means within 10 days.
Yes.
Yes, we are working with time. We need to be. I like the Member of Parliament for Jomoro. She's nodding because it's a very important project for the people of Jomoro. If they do it well, the spillover will come to my hometown in Paul. All of us will be happy. You understand? Let me get to Halid Nuhu. And I mean, from a GPHA point of view, I mean, let's have that conversation also because we're looking at building ports within the enclave. Let's look at the processes. Let's look at how you can make it easy for those who will be engaging in that.
Thank you. As you rightly said, we are here because of the port component of the project. And GPHA, then our Act, BNDC Law 160, 1986, we are mandated to plan, build, operate, manage, control, and supervise ports in Ghana. And for an area to operate as a port or a port infrastructure to be developed in an area, the coordinate of the area has to be declared as a port. And that declaration is not made by you, it's not made by me, it is from the president of the country. We have not collaborated enough, I must admit, to declare the area as a port. Until that is done, we are unable to develop a port infrastructure in the area. So the two parties have to really engage on that so that together we develop a paper and present to the relevant authority for it to be carried forward for that enclave to be declared as a port. Very important for us. And I'm excited to see that Petroleum Hub, they have started some baseline studies. They have undertaken some mathematical survey that shows the depth of water at the shoreline and then even deeper into the sea. Perhaps we need to do further geotechnical survey to understand the nature of the soil and the rocks in the sea, so that if we are supposed to dredge, then we know the kind of dredges that will be deployed to do this work. We also have to undertake some environmental studies because we need to understand the aquatic life within the area. If there's the need for them to be relocated, I remember when we were constructing Terminal 3, little did we know that that area was a turtle-infested area. You know, when we got there to do the environmental study, we found out that there were a lot of turtles. So we had to migrate about 200,000 turtles to Pram area. You don't just kill them, you have to relocate them. You nest a place in another area that they will feel conducive, just like the way they were living in the past. So for us, it is not just about simple permitting. It is a high-level collaboration between GPHA and Petroleum Hub to develop the port infrastructure.
Great, and I like the point that you made, the fact that the President must declare you're happy that some research is going into it. Do I get the impression that you are willing to engage the Petroleum Hub Development Corporation to actually ensure that by the time, say, an investor is ready to start a process, you would have gone through a lot of the things that would be needed, and so that would actually shorten the processes?
GPHA is more than willing. We are open to assist a sister company or a sister organization, you know, so that we can fast track the process. We have had some little discussion in the past when the former CEO paid a courtesy call to us, but the discussion didn't go further. I think this time we are more than ready to take it to another level.
So we should tell the CEO to come back and then take the discussions further.
Very.
To engage them, to assist them, to even go through the processes before the individual entities start applying, right?
Winston, let me assure you that even the local plan was prepared by the Land Use and Spatial Planning Authority. And all the proposals that are within the plan, we are aware of them. We did this together with the stakeholders and the district assemblies. So they are all aware of the proposals. As soon as it gets to them, I think they will not delay on it. I can assure you.
Great. I like the fact that you are aware of all the plans. It means that once you are aware of plans, once you've prepared it with them, once they bring it, you'll be able to engage them to make sure that they are done quickly. Very soon we'll get to you.
And this one too, it will be easier because individuals are not going to apply for their land title. It's going to be in bulk for all of them, all the players. So once it's given, then it affects all the development.
Great, it means we're making some progress. Very soon we'll come to you if you have any questions, so you can ask those questions. But before we get to you, a final question for you, Professor Flucher. You talked about the fact that you know there's been the plans of resettlement and all of that. What I want going forward is the engagement with the hub, for instance. Is the authority prepared to engage them while we wait for these investors to actually do a lot of the assessment, which then would make the processes easier once these people are ready to come in?
Definitely. So we see that the hub want to equally help with the investors get their permits or licenses early enough so that's really avoid delays and all of that. So we will, of course, we are open, we will engage, we will make sure that we get things done as early as possible. The good thing is that when we are able to move fast, that's when we also get our revenue generated. So it is in our own interest also to get the permits ready and in time for our proponents when they come in. So we will engage, sure.
Great. Michael, you want to say something finally on this before I open the floor for questions?
Yes, well, I wanted to assure the Petroleum Hub that for National Petroleum Authority, we are prepared to reduce the turnaround time.
Great, thank you very much. Let's give them a huge round of applause. Okay, so they're ready for your questions now. Just show by hand. Can I get someone pass the microphone around? Otherwise, I think I'd have to just do that myself. So just show by hand. We'll get a microphone to you. If you have a question you want to ask, and then you ask that question, and then the panelists will address it for you. Any question? Okay, please get a microphone too. And then I see a hand behind you. I see hands behind you. You tell us your name and the agency you're representing, and you go ahead with your question.
Thank you, and thanks to all the panelists. My name is Westworth Odame Rabi. I'm representing the Ghana Institution of Surveyors.
Okay.
I just want some clarification on the land acquisition process, whether indeed the 20,000 have all been acquired and whether compensation has been paid. Because in many projects of this nature, it is the land acquisition, if it's not handled properly, that creates a lot of risks for the investors and for the developers, so that we can all be on the same page. And then on the resettlement, again, previous studies show that when people are resettled, normally they are not given sufficient land for their economic activities. So maybe it would be good to know how the resettlement is being packaged to ensure that the people don't go onto the resettled areas and eventually whip their way back onto the acquired land and create problems. That's my first question. The second one is on the land use planning point of view. I think I like the idea that they are not going to give specific individual approvals to specific projects, but how sure are we that this will work so that eventually if you can cut out that element of the development permit processes, because the entire development scheme has been approved, it will reduce the length of time needed for such approvals as quickly as possible. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Your first question will be one that the CEO would answer later. So let's pick other questions. Yes, there's a hand behind you.
Good morning. Thank you all very much. Macmillan Prentice is my name, Ghana Standards Authority. My question is going to the EPA. Considering the fact that the environmental impact, environmental and social impact assessment sometimes takes a lot of time, I am just wondering, is there any possibility that the PHDC could actually conduct a comprehensive assessment, and based on that assessment, then individual entities could use this assessment for applying for their individual permits? Granted that there may be small differences in the mitigation measures that one entity may use or the other.
Please go ahead, Andres.
Yeah, so that last bit was what I was going to talk about, that we have our individual or differences in what we look at for all these different regulatory bodies. So it may be difficult, but once it's in line with what we want, I mean, why not we work at it? Because what EPA will be looking for will not be the same as what other regulatory bodies will be looking for. Otherwise, we would have merged to be one regulatory body to do the permitting and guidelines. So it's difficult here, but it has to be done per what individual agencies requires for their permitting process.
Okay. But at least you told us how you're prepared to liaise with the Petroleum Hub Development Corporation to prepare comprehensive assessments. That's something you said you're prepared to do with them. So the CEO is here. I'm sure once we're done, he would get in touch with you and then you pick it up from there. Yes, I'm sure there are other questions. Please show your hand. Yes, let's get the microphones to them.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for this dialogue. I'm Kofi Dechia-Dakwa from Gov't River Authority. From what we've been talking about, I've been seeing that the silo regulatory compliance, the silo mentality is the problem. But I think what I'm going to do is a suggestion. Our colleague from Michael from MPA suggested that he's able to log into GRA's portal and make approvals. So I think this is an opportunity not only for GHDC but also for all regulatory bodies, because in BRA we also have this long duration to get our permits. So if we're able to have a platform where all the regulatory bodies, NPA, Lands Commission, EPA, and all other regulatory bodies are able to access an application. Then once someone makes an application, whoever is the authorizing body can quickly bring in the actors who are available. So to reduce the time of you go from this person first, or having a special concession to facilitate and expedite permitting. Yeah.
Great. You're going to make the point, Prof?
Yeah, I want to say that it's doable because we are doing it for the mining sector. So once the application comes in at the district level, the Minerals Commission, EPA, and other regulatory agencies will all see the application at the same time. So this is also doable. We can do it. Probably we can use the Petroleum Hub Development Corporation to do this.
Great. Any more questions? Okay, there are no questions from here. It means we can come to this side. Yes, I see hands here. Let's get to them. I see 1, 2. Yes, let's get them to ask their questions.
Thank you very much. My name is Rashid Dauda. During the presentation by Owusu Abrahama, I noticed that the barrier in his presentation was not only timeline but also finance. Cost of permits. He put something together in the region of 18 million. Please, has the Petroleum Hub engaged the various agencies to see how they streamline the cost of permitting? Because I think the questions have been too much on the timeline. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I saw another hand here.
Good morning. I'm Atukosa, Fire Service. I want to touch on the interoperability in respect of a portal to facilitate permit acquisition. I don't know whether Petroleum Hub has engaged BR, that is being a regulatory reform, a unit within trade industry that has already engaged the permitting agencies to help put them together to reduce turnaround time. If they haven't done that, I would suggest that they need to engage them and see how far they've gone with the streamlining and digitalizing of the process so that it will complement what is being done and what we are doing. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Any more questions?
Okay.
Yes, please.
I'm Dio Frey Gordon Meza, Fire Engineer of the Ghana National Fire Service. I want to find out whether the building plans have already been submitted for review in terms of a fire perspective. Because what usually happens is that before you start any project, you need to submit the building plans for review in terms of fire installations and all those recommendations made. But it's unfortunate that it's our country. You will start the project, finish it before now contacting respective agencies involved in all this. And then raised about cost, because if I bring a recommendation, you need to redo what you're supposed to do. And then look at the cost implication. So the right things should be done at the right time. Review should be done at the early stage in order to have a successful project. So this because this area is very volatile. If you don't consider the safety factors at the beginning, it may be disastrous. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, I think there's a hand behind you. Maybe that'll be the last question.
Thank you. My name is Emmanuel Nedu. I'm representing NCA partners. From the presentations so far, I haven't heard anything about telecommunication infrastructure being part of this whole front-end engineering design. Just as the last or previous speaker mentioned, usually it comes as an afterthought, and it's so much costly to now come in, build some infrastructure to facilitate such a project. We all know globally now, communication or ICT is one of the pillars that facilitates or makes a project successful. I want to know from the PHDC, what have they done to bring in the telecommunication infrastructure? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, I said the final one when I see a hand. This row hasn't had a question, so maybe we pick the last two questions, 1 and 2. Yeah. So let's get the microphone to them.
Thank you. I'm representing Ghana Institution of Engineering. I'm Thomas Kojo-Boabe. I want to find out from PHDC. It's a very laudable project, and now investors are being sought for to come and invest. I want to find out what sort of projects are we looking at, or what sort of investment are we looking at as far as the investors are concerned. Are we looking at build, operate and transfer? Is it a build, operate and manage? Or is it going to be some turnkey or EPC project?
Thank you. Thank you very much, Engineer. Okay, final question here. Yes, let's get it. I see a lot of the questions are directed towards the PHDC.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, I'm Emmanuel Sawyer from the Department of Factories Inspectorate. This question goes to the CEO. Health and safety is very key. You cannot operate businesses and sacrifice the health and safety of workers. I want to know the plans of the PSC or the intention of the PSC towards the workers from the construction phase right through the operational phase of the hub, because I don't think it's the intention of the state to sacrifice the workers' health and safety for business and economics. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Let's get the microphone to the CEO then. There's been question after question, all directed to the CEO. So I think that at this point, even before we wrap it all up, it would be important for the CEO to make a point. Do you want to make a point, Lou? Okay, so let's get to the CEO of the Petroleum Hub Development. But before then, I think there was a question to you. He wanted to find out, yes, to you, Chapman, before the CEO comes in to address that. Yes.
Okay. He asked whether they've submitted their development proposal for permit in advance. That cannot be done. The answer is no. They are now looking for investors, and the investors will come and they will express what they are interested in. And if it's maybe a refinery, then they will submit their plans as to what kind of refinery they want to build. And that is when their plans will be submitted for permit. So at this stage, the answer is no.
Great. Professor Klucher, there was a question about the fees and charges being very expensive and whether there was anything that could be done.
Okay, so the EPA fees are discussed and approved by Parliament. So we have fees and charges that are approved by Parliament. So each and every single fee we charge is by parliamentary approval. So until it gets back to Parliament for maybe a down review, we can't do anything about it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great. Which means the CEO, Dr. Tony Obing, can answer the questions that are being asked. There's been a question about whether the line title has been secured, whether compensation is being paid to those affected, and what you want to do. Please go ahead and address that.
Thank you very much. Just going straight to the land title issue. These are ongoing. The government is using its eminent domain power to acquire the land. The process is on. You know, you need to engage in these processes, engage well, proper entry, and so you get it. So at the moment, no payment has been made. And sometimes I say we haven't acquired the land, even though we want to say that we have acquired this extent of land. Because even when government has to use its power of eminent domain, there's a requirement for payment of compensation or demonstration of your ability to pay compensation. So that is the answer. But government is working very hard. In fact, we've been tasked to do that, and we are very close to securing some funds to do that. There are various models available that you don't pay for all, you pay as and when, or you pay for all so that nobody comes around. So these models are being looked at, but it's key. I think one of the key things that we're looking at is the payment of compensation. There was another question on impact assessment and all that, and I think Prof has answered them. Let me just say that already strategic assessments have been made, strategic environmental assessment have been done with the EPA, which has actually led to additional assessments on the biodiversity areas. Because if you look at the land, you have about 8,000 acres being lagoon and wetlands, eco-sensitive area. So we're working with EPA on the biodiversity assessment, and this is almost done. And there's a continuous interaction with the entity. In terms of, I had the cost of permitting, which is quite important to us, but I believe if you are able to reduce the lead time, it might affect the cost of permitting. I think because the lead time for permitting is long and officers have to move back and forth, that also have impact on the cost. So if you are able to compress the time, I am sure it will automatically impact on the cost. But as my sister said, it all has to also do with Parliament taking the decision on us. On the ICT infrastructure, I think there was a question on whether the hub has contacted the NCA and all that. Yes, in fact, it's one of the areas of investment that we are looking for. We are looking for people who will invest in communication in that area. So yes, we will talk with NCA and the communication agencies that handle that. But basically, we're looking for investment in that area as well. I don't know if there's any question that I haven't, but I think there was about resettlement in the communities. Fortunately, for example, I have been involved in these resettlement things in my young days with the mines. Fortunately for this project, there are only 4 communities that have to be resettled. And these 4 communities, 2 of them are outside the hub. In fact, in mining terms, they say they don't need to be resettled, but they need to be resettled for other strategic reasons. And then the 2 inside the hub itself. But one of the communities is actually being hemmed in by the coast, by the tide from, it's on the coastline. So when, because of global warming and this high tides and so on, the community is being hemmed in from that side, and then water from the lagoon is also pushing them from the other side. So they themselves are actually agitating for resettlement. That community is called Old Kablesuazo. Now, fortunately, they have their cousins. They already have the new Kablesuazo, which is already there. and they want to move. The traditional leadership want to join their cousins, and we have committed to move them. I think that's the major area of resettlement. In fact, in some other resettlement, there are only about 5 or so huts to move. So the resettlement is not a major challenge, and I think we will make sure that we follow every requirement. In fact, when I came, I saw a drawing of a place to be settled, and I saw primary school being built, that will be built there. And I saw the normal primary school drawing, the one that we see. And I said, no, you can't resettle them and give them the normal primary school. It should be a sexy primary school. so yes, the state of the art, so that they will see value being added to that movement. So this is the mentality, this is the kind of thinking we currently have for the resettlement. I guess I've responded to all.
Sure. Yes, are there any other questions?
Health and safety is crucial.
Sure.
And first of all, the regulators will make sure that we do that. And those who are going to build, the hub is not going to build the refinery. The corporation is not going to build the refinery. It will be built by people who are into that business. And health and safety will be a requirement. So if you will not be granted the permission to do that or the permit to do that if you will not assure the regulators that you will take health and safety seriously. So that one, just rest assured, the regulators will not allow that to pass. EPA people, if you don't do the right thing, they'll come at you. When it has to do with the EPA thing, they'll come at you. They will apply the law. Madam has said things that I almost ran away some time ago because you want to apply the law in a way that is rigorous, which is very good. The other one is the model of investment. In fact, we don't have one size fits all model. Some of them will be negotiated. We will have BOO, build, operate, and own. Subject to some negotiations and agreement with government. Some would also be joint venture. Some of the arrangement will be joint venture. For example, if you have the ancillary projects, like schools, hospitals, they may be build, operate, and transfer, or build a joint venture, PPP, with government. But these are models that will be negotiated. Then for the key infrastructure, it will be BO, build, operate, and own, with some arrangement with government. Some of them are saying that even if government doesn't want to be part, they want government to be part, just to assure them of their investment. The government will look at all these things, that if they will not let us pay money, but they will give us some benefits, then we don't have a problem being part of it. But models will be negotiated according to what projects we have.
Okay. Any more questions? Okay, I think we can pick a few more questions. I see 2 hands. Yes, behind us. Let's go to them and get their questions.
Yes, thank you very much. My name is Spencer Thompson. I'm with ASEPA. I want to make a suggestion. If you look at the licensing regimes in the petroleum sector, a lot of them are a bit cumbersome, from EPA to Petroleum Commission to what have you. And I was thinking, wouldn't it be prudent as a specific package for investors in the PHDC program? These licenses and permits are put together as a package, so that, which is facilitated by the PHDC, so that it removes all those bottlenecks if they can integrate. So for example, if you apply, then the PHDC will facilitate your permit with the EPA, will facilitate your permit with the Petroleum Commission, will facilitate your permit with other relevant agencies, which are required in this project, at least as a package for investors, so that you take away all those administrative bottlenecks, it makes it easier for investors, so that you don't have to go through the hassle of trying to chase one agency after the other. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there a hand? I see one hand here, another hand there. So let's see. Okay, there's another question.
Please, my name is Emmanuel from Kemba. On the investment model, is the CEO considering Ghanaian-owned shares, whereby Ghanaians invest in terms of equity into the petroleum hub development? That could also be a source of funding for the organization.
Okay, thank you. There's a hand there.
Thank you very much. My name is Smith Mohaney for IEX. I wanted to ask the CEO that what are some of the KPIs that are put in place for the project implementation? For example, the first phase, the second phase, the third phase. What are some of the KPIs that are put in place? And then on the technical aspect, we know there are some top tier hubs across the globe, that of Houston, that of Singapore and the likes. In terms of the design and execution of the project, are there any benchmarks in terms of the structure in comparison to some of these top tier hubs to ensure that we are able to compete globally with some of these hubs? Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, hold on, I think there's a hand here. Oh, you can't hear me. Okay, let's get here.
Thank you. I'm Samuel Makobati from People Authority. Please, I just want to find out if there's an alignment between the goals of the PHEC and Ghana Energy Transition Plan. And if it's not, I think it should be given serious consideration to ensure sustainability. Thank you.
Thank you. I saw a hand here, so okay, there's one here.
Thank you. My name is Sam Wabasa. I wanted to talk about the human capital issues to execute such a project. Not only about the execution of the project, but also about when the project becomes operational, you need to operate it. Such projects require a mindset that is more private sector driven than a typical public sector driven mindset. So things like procedures, excessive procedures, red tapeism, the private sector doesn't want that. How do we bridge the gap in terms of human capital to be able to get enough resources to be able to attract finance to make this project come forth? And then secondly, when it is operational, what do we do to have the human capital to be able to also operate the system? Because if we don't do that, what will happen is we'll still have to import expertise and people to come in and come and do this work. I'm saying this in the light of the report on how projects are implemented in developing countries. We only utilize 30% of projects in developing countries. And if we have to go out on such a huge project with the same mindset, we might just do a little or little than what we expect. So I want to know what the human capital issues are to address us to get this project done. Thank you.
Thank you very much. There's a hand here.
Thank you very much. My name is Yusuf Suleiman from TOR. Mine is more of a contribution, and probably to just try to address what my brother asked with respect to human capital. Well, unlike the upstream, if we come to the downstream I think we are well endowed. I'm not saying upstream we are not well endowed, but comparatively, if you look at Petroleum Hub, it's an aggregate of, let's say, Tor, Gov't, maybe Ghana Gas, something of that sort. The only thing that we don't have probably is a petrochemical side of it. We haven't operated a robust petrochemical. So I want to say that we have huge hope. There is huge potential. Besides that, this particular agency that I mentioned, they've been operated. Tor is poised to operate again. It's been operated before. And we have a lot of the capital know-how. A lot of Ghanaians have left for, even within the overseas like the GCC. So I want to say that, and I want to assure that with the downstream side, I think there's a huge human capital pool which we need to take advantage. Apart from the fact that we have also huge lessons to learn with this particular institution that I talked about. And somebody also was mentioning the model. If I may add, the fact that we want to do partnership, that alone is a huge relief. The reason why most of other institutions that we have, we struggle a little bit, is because of craving partnership with agencies that have the state and know how to do it. And so huge lessons are learned. And so with the coming of the hub, I think we can't do anything but to succeed. And I believe we're going to succeed. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I see a hand behind. Yes.
Good morning to you all. From Ghana Free Zones Authority, much as we haven't been acknowledged, I would like to say that we are so excited that 5 of our monetary and non-monetary incentives have been adapted by the Petroleum Hub Development Corporation. We are very excited, and we will send this report back to our CEO. My question is, I think education on this laudable initiative is quite low, as attested to by the moderator himself. I would like to know if there are any plans to organize any road shows or marketing drives to educate the entire citizenry on this initiative. We are lucky to be here and then to be informed about this, but what about the other Ghanaians, the rest of the citizenry out there? I think we should let everybody come on board. I've been in Takoradi for the past 8 years, and I think information on this has been quite slow. And then also, is there any linkage between this industry and academia such that we are integrating this laudable initiative into our school curriculum so that by the time students come out, they would have ample knowledge about this? Thank you very much. Ghana Free Zones Authority, thank you very much.
Thank you very, very much, Ghana Free Zones Authority. Okay.
Winston.
Yes.
May I? Yes, good afternoon. My name is Paul Ofori from the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers. And a quick one, if you don't mind, on behalf of my boss. I would like to know between the PHDC, Gov't, Tor, Ghana Gas, what has been the level of collaboration? There are plans to establish a new processing plant. I'm sure Gov't is also considering some level of investment in terms of storage facilities. So I want to know that level of collaboration between these agencies and the PHDC, and then what the future also looks like. Then I would like to come to the regulatory agencies. PHDC is new, it's a baby. Now, as a special purpose vehicle, if you like to put it that way, I was hoping, and if there's any possibility on the part of our regulatory bodies, to consider perhaps looking at the magnitude of the project at Jomoro. 20,000 acres. It's not possible to set up some mini offices, at that end, so that it facilitates the registration processes if possible. And then also, if you can give PHDC that special dispensation where we can register businesses as and when they come in within the shortest possible time, maximum 2 weeks, just so investors can have that leeway in coming in to bring in that needed investment we are all looking out for. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I saw a hand. Okay, that'll be the final one. Yes.
Thank you very much. Naval Captain True. Sometimes